On Saturday nights, after Ren and Stimpy, dark music would start with sinister visuals. A rowboat bobbing in the river, a swing swinging by itself, a shutter flapping in the storm, ghostly children's laughter, attic creaks, a clown doll, a fan, a door, and then the sound of a match striking and burning. It was time to get scared. It was time for Are You Afraid of the Dark? This is a deep dive into the history of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. Wait, let's get spooky. Hey, spooky people. It's your best friend Kenny, and before we get to the video, let's make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. It is The Spooky Lawyer. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you like and share this video. Just go up to some random person and tell them about me. Say, hey, have you seen Kenny's channel? Have you seen The Spooky Lawyer? You might like him. And then, stand there and awkwardly wait while you make them subscribe to this channel. I'm sure that'll be fine. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this story. These iconic words, spoken in the firelight of a hidden clearing in the woods, marked the beginning of sleepless nights and sparked a lifelong love of horror for many millennials and maybe Gen Xers. Are You Afraid of the Dark is a beloved children's anthology series, and it grabbed audiences' attentions with its spooky tales and its relatable cast of storytellers. We are going to talk about its origins, its evolution, and the lasting impact it has had on spooky culture. The beginning of Are You Afraid of the Dark starts with the creative minds of DJ MacHale and Ned Kandel. It was initially conceived as bedtime stories for lazy parents. The show's original concept involved an older actor reading fairy tales by a fireplace. However, the idea evolved when MacHale, inspired by his own childhood love of scary stories, suggested a shift towards horror. The title Scary Tales was briefly considered, but ultimately rejected by Nickelodeon, leading to the adoption of the now iconic Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark is such a better title. I'm glad that they came up with it. Nickelodeon initially hesitated to greenlight a horror show for children, but new executives eventually embraced the concept. The show's development involved a collaboration between Nickelodeon, MacHale, Kandel, and the Canadian company SNICK. This partnership led to the show being filmed primarily in Montreal, Quebec, with some additional filming in Richmond, British Columbia. The pilot episode, called The Tale of the Twisted Claw, premiered on YTV on Halloween in 1990 and aired as a special on Nickelodeon the following year. The show's creators drew inspiration from classic literature when developing the tales, aiming to provide a deeper layer of meaning and familiarity for the viewer. At the heart of Are You Afraid of the Dark was the Midnight Society, a group of teenagers who gathered weekly in a secret location in the woods to share scary stories. Each episode begins with the member arriving at their meeting place, often carrying flashlights and blankets and settling around a campfire. The campfire itself was created with propane and sand to achieve the desired visual effect. One member would take on the role of the storyteller, introducing the tale with the famous line, submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this story. The phrase was an homage to Rod Serling's introductions to The Twilight Zone, a show that deeply influenced MacHale. To enhance the eerie atmosphere, the storyteller would toss a handful of midnight dust into the campfire, causing the flames to flare up and emit an eerie white smoke. This midnight dust was actually a mixture of Coffee Mate and glitter. Who knew Coffee Mate could cause such interesting fire effects? Don't try this at home. The original Midnight Society included a group of actors such as Ross Hull as Gary, Daniel DeSanto as Tucker, Rain Pear Cole as Betty Ann, Jodie Rester as Kiki, and Jason L. Sharon as Frank. The show's creators placed a strong emphasis on casting a diverse group of actors, deliberately avoiding those who were deemed too Disney in their appearance and acting style. They had a commitment to diversity, and authenticity was a key factor in the show's appeal and its ability to resonate with a wide range of viewers. The stories themselves often revolved around common childhood fears and anxieties, such as ghosts, monsters, and other supernatural phenomena. The show also discussed more complex and mature themes like divorce, bullying, grief, sibling rivalry, and even being cruel to animals. By exploring these issues in a way that was both frightening and thought-provoking, Are You Afraid of the Dark encouraged young viewers to confront their own fears and anxieties and to develop empathy for others. The show's creators also aim to depict kids taking charge of difficult situations in order to teach young viewers to be empowered and to believe in their own agency and resilience. This focus on relatable characters and realistic challenges contributed to its lasting effect and its ability to connect with audiences on a deeper level. As MacHale noted, he particularly enjoyed writing stories about kids overcoming challenges and telling their own stories, reflecting his belief in the power of young people to make a difference in the world. The original series, Are You Afraid of the Dark, aired for 5 seasons from 1992 to 1996. Each season consisted of 13 episodes, each featuring a different story told by a member of the Midnight Society. The show's cast changed over the seasons, with some members leaving and new ones joining the group. The original season included the aforementioned The Tale of the Twisted Claw, the pilot episode. The story, a variation of an old folk tale, follows 2 boys, Kevin and Dougie, who encountered a cursed object after a Halloween prank gone wrong. The story begins on Halloween. Kevin and Dougie spraying shaving cream in the face of Miss Clove, an elderly woman rumored to be a witch. In the chaos, Miss Clove backs into an expensive vase, breaking it. The boys flee, and Miss Clove, after removing her shaving cream-covered glasses, displays a mix of anger and an evil smile, followed by a laugh. Later, while trick-or-treating, the boys are persuaded by Kevin to visit Miss Clove's house again. Despite Dougie's apprehension, they enter, and Miss Clove offers them a special treat, a carved vulture's claw, which she claims grants 3 wishes to its owner. She warns them to be careful what they wish for. Dougie reluctantly accepts the claw. On the way back home, Dougie jokingly wishes they could stop trick-or-treating, and the claw moves, startling him. They encounter a gang of older teenagers who try to steal their candy. A chase ensues, but the boys manage to hide and escape. Kevin then states that Dougie got his wish. Dougie's offhand wish to stop trick-or-treating seemingly comes true when they evade the bullies, although it was a forced outcome rather than a supernatural one. The second wish is Kevin's. At school, Kevin wishes he wants to beat a popular boy named Bostic in a race. During the race, a black dog appears out of nowhere and trips Bostic, causing him a severe leg injury. Kevin wins but feels guilty afterwards, suspecting the claw's involvement. The third wish is also Kevin's. That night, during an argument about the claw's power, Kevin wishes that Dougie would lose his folks. Immediately afterwards, they receive a call informing them that Dougie's parents were in an accident and are at the hospital. The fourth wish is Dougie's. In a panic and believing his deceased grandfather would know what to do, Dougie accidentally wishes his grandfather was there. His grandfather's car appears outside, terrifying both boys as they fear he's returned as a corpse or a zombie. The final wish is Dougie's. After a struggle for the claw, Dougie wishes that they had never broken Miss Clove's vase, and the claw vanishes. Thereafter, Dougie's parents arrive home unharmed, having simply forgotten their keys. Kevin's winning medal disappears, and the grandfather's car is gone. On their doorstep, they find Miss Clove's vase, fully restored, with a note that says trick or treat. And the story ends with a shot of Miss Clove's house and the door and gate closing on their own, and her laugh echoing in the wind. The story is a thriller that explores the dark side of wish fulfillment and the importance of considering potential consequences of one's desire and actions. It's a classic be careful what you wish for narrative with a spooky Halloween twist tailored for a younger audience. The ending, with the vase restored and Miss Clove's laugh, suggests that the events were not a dream or a coincidence, but a deliberate and possibly ongoing lesson from the mysterious woman. It also included the tale of Laughing in the Dark, which featured a clown that many of you may recall and may still have somewhere in the back of your brain haunting you. The tale of Laughing in the Dark centers around a haunted funhouse and a boy who steals a souvenir from it. The story takes place at Playland, a popular amusement park. A key attraction is the Laughing in the Dark funhouse, which is rumored to be haunted by a ghost of a cigar-smoking clown named Zebo. The funhouse is a maze-like attraction with scary monsters and a series of numbered doors at the end, only one of which leads to freedom and hid in the funhouse. He accidentally started a fire with a cigar and perished inside. A new funhouse was built, featuring a Zeebo dummy, and the legend began that Zeebo's ghost still haunted the place. Ouija dares Josh to go through the funhouse alone and steal Zeebo's nose as proof. And Josh says, "Challenge accepted." Inside, Josh encounters spooky props and illusions, including a glimpse of what appears to be the real Zeebo in a mirror. He navigates the maze and finds the right door. Remembering the dare, he finds the Zeebo dummy, screams in terror initially, and then steals its nose. As he leaves, he taunts the dummy, and cigar smoke billows from the door behind which the dummy is placed, along with an eerie light. Josh boasts about his victory over Zeebo, but strange things start happening. He smells cigar smoke, hears a scratchy voice on the phone telling him to give it back, and finds his microwave spaghetti replaced with burnt cigars. Ugh. He realizes that Zeebo's ghost is haunting him. He sees a footprint with a Z in some spilled pudding. He calls Ouija, who confirms he isn't pranking him. The strange voice interrupts their call, threatening to come and get the nose. Josh returns to laughing in the dark, apologizes to the Zeebo dummy, and returns the nose, offering a humidor of cigars as a peace offering. Who knows where he got the cigars? Zeebo's ghost, seemingly appeased, lets Josh go. And the story ends with the circus carny smoking a cigar, saying the funhouse's signature line, revealing that he is actually Zeebo's ghost. The Tale of Laughing in the Dark is a classic ghost story combined with a creepy clown story. It combines elements of suspense, humor, and a moral lesson about respecting the dead and facing one's fears. The episode has jump scares, eerie sounds, and a chilling atmosphere, and not to mention a very, very creepy clown that I think many of you recall to this day. The show's popularity led to 2 revival series, which we will discuss later in this video. As we discussed earlier, Are You Afraid of the Dark was primarily filmed in Montreal, Quebec, with some filming in Richmond, British Columbia. The campfire scenes primarily took place on a soundstage, so there was a controlled environment for the Midnight Society's gatherings. The show's creators went to great lengths to find eerie and atmospheric locations for the stories themselves, often venturing into the woods, abandoned houses, and cemeteries. However, filming these locations presented its own set of challenges. For example, a Canadian law prohibiting the display of real names on tombstones forced crews to construct fake foam tombstones to obscure the actual ones. Must have been a fun job, making a fake tombstone in a cemetery, right? Many of the deep woods scenes were filmed in an arboretum. And these were challenging scenes to film too. There were a lot of mosquitoes, and there were restrictions on the types of mosquito repellent that could be used because of the protected status of the area, which was a difficult experience for the cast and crew. They obviously didn't want their actors to be fighting off mosquitoes or having really strange mosquito bites on their film. The show's special effects were created on a limited budget, relying on practical techniques and creative ingenuity. Some of the effects appear dated by today's standards, but they were effective in creating a sense of unease and suspense for young viewers. The show's creators made use of post-production techniques to enhance the atmosphere and create visual effects. The show's eerie and atmospheric theme music was composed by Jeff Zahn, who I think did an absolute incredible job in setting the show's overall tone and creepiness. The show utilized several different directors and a team of producers to keep the show interesting and to oversee various aspects of the show's development and execution. To prepare the young cast for their roles, the miniseries writer and producer Ben David Grabinski gave them homework assignments, including watching a variety of horror films, both classic and contemporary. This approach helped the actors become fully immersed in the horror genre and to develop their characters in a more nuanced way. There's no consensus as to why the original Are You Afraid of the Dark series ended in 1996. It could have been the natural conclusion of the show. The show had a successful 5-season run, and the creators may have felt that they told all the stories that they wanted to tell. It was also difficult because the young actors grew up, and it became harder and harder to keep the Midnight Society believable as a group of kids with a constantly changing cast. And although it was still popular, the show's ratings may have started to decline by the 5th season. And of course, there's always the possibility that the show's creators may have desired to move on to work on new projects. Are You Afraid of the Dark has had a significant impact on popular culture, and it's influenced other horror TV shows and films and inspired a generation of viewers to love horror. It's created a generation of spooky people. It introduced young audience to classic horror tropes and themes, paving their way to appreciation of more sophisticated works for later in the life. Furthermore, Are You Afraid of the Dark was groundbreaking as one of the first horror anthology shows aimed specifically at children. It paved the way for future networks to take chances on darker content aimed at younger audiences, leading to the development of shows like Stranger Things, Riverdale, and Wednesday. The show's diverse cast and its exploration of a wide range of experiences also contributed to its impact, particularly for young female horror fans who saw themselves reflected in the show's strong and resourceful female characters. The show's lasting popularity and critical acclaim are a testament to its enduring impact and its ability to connect with audiences of all ages. This recognition is reflected in the numerous awards and nominations the show has received over the years, including a Cable Ace Award nomination, a Daytime Emmy Award nomination, several Gemini Award nominations, and a Writers Guild of America Award win. Incredibly, the United Kingdom temporarily banned the show due to a scene that was deemed too scary for children. However, once this controversy was ultimately resolved, it made the show more popular in the United Kingdom, kind of like the Streisand effect. The success of the original Are You Afraid of the Dark led to 2 revival series, each with its own unique cast and storylines. The first revival aired from 1999 to 2000 and maintained the anthology format but introduced a new Midnight Society, a new cast. The second revival, premiered in 2019, adopted a different approach, with each season focusing on a single, overarching story told over several episodes. This shift from an episodic anthology to a serialized format was a significant departure from the original series, allowing for deeper character development and more complex storylines. The 2019 reboot also incorporated stylistic elements that distinguished it from its predecessors, such as the use of a first-person perspective in certain scenes. This technique added a new layer of immediacy and intensity to the storytelling. The revivals and reboots garnered mixed reactions from fans, but they also demonstrate the enduring appeal of Are You Afraid of the Dark, its concept, and its ability to be reimagined for new generations. To my delight, you can find Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes on YouTube, and I have sat and watched many of them in part of creating this video. Are You Afraid of the Dark is a beloved and unique children's horror anthology series. It has influenced a generation to fall in love with horror, like me. I loved this show. I loved watching this show as a child. I loved being afraid by this show, and I am very grateful for its existence. And it's very, very happy to make this video as sort of a love letter to the show. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, The Spooky Lawyer. Make sure that you like and share this video. Make sure that you're following me on Blue Sky and TikTok. My username is AKBruise. Make sure that you follow me on Twitter. My username is AKBruise there as well. If there is a spooky story you would like me to cover, send me an email, thespookylawyer@gmail.com. I appreciate you watching my video. I appreciate your support. And please, stay spooky.